Hello everybody, welcome back. Today I want to talk a bit about electronic warfare in Star Citizen, a very important feature for the future of organizational warfare, but also for the future of the game itself as a realistic space sim. Electronic warfare is not yet fully implemented in game, and it will probably take a while until we see this feature fully fleshed out, but the first steps, the first iteration of this feature is in game, and you can even experience some type of electronic warfare in the persistent universe right now. This feature is going to be very important for organizations that are warring each other, that are fighting each other, and it will give them the opportunity to monitor their enemies, to manipulate info, but also disable targets so they can board and capture them. It's going to be an essential tool for every organization that wants to be successful at a battlefield. And it is going to be very important to fully understand how electronic warfare in Star Citizen works and how you can take advantage of this very important tool. It is also a great asset for a small group of friends or a small organization that is facing overwhelming numbers, and with the proper use of electronic warfare it will be able to withstand against a larger organization, to fight against a larger coalition of forces, and even emerge victorious. So let's go ahead and take a look at what types of electronic warfare we have right now and we will have in the future when this feature will be fully implemented in Star Citizen, but also at the dedicated ships, at the ships that can be used for electronic warfare, and how we can use them effectively. To better distinguish the different types of electronic warfare, we can put them in three different categories: e-war attack, e-war protection, and e-war support. And when we are thinking about electronic warfare attacks, the first attack that comes to mind obviously is the electromagnetic pulse. An attack that has as a goal to overload the target's power pipe and force a restart of their ship's computer system. Something that will disable your target and leave them defenseless, allow to your rest of your group, to your rest of your party, of your friends, of your organization members to board this target, whether it is a ship or something else, a bigger entity, neutralize the crew and take control of it. A fine example of this attack that we can find in game right now, that you can experience in game right now, is with the Avenger Warlock. An Avenger variant that is equipped with an EMP generator capable of emitting a powerful EMP wave to disable any electronics unfortunate enough to be within the blast radius. It is only logical, of course, that the more severe the hit is to your target, the more will remain disabled, and the more time you and your group will have to fulfill your task. Data spike missiles that can be described as an electronic harpoon will allow to a player to establish a direct link into their target's computer, taking full control of his ship, taking full control of his electronics, and in that way allowing him to shut down critical systems like propulsion, weapons, shields and cooling. This is going to be especially helpful if you want to capture a vessel, an enemy vessel, and if you don't want to destroy it. With the use of data spike missiles you will be able to disable most of its critical functions long enough for your crew to get inside, neutralize the crew and capture that very viable trophy. In the future we will also have in the game hacking arrays that will allow you to hack into the systems of your enemy, into the systems of your target, and it will have the same results with the data spike missiles. Will allow you to take control of the enemy vessel, disable it and allow to your crew to get aboard and control it. Distortion attacks that will disrupt the target's power flow to all components, and a hit like this will temporarily reduce a power plant's maximum output. Again, something that we have in game right now with distortion type of weapons that slowly drain the power of your enemies, leaving their systems unable to work properly. And last but definitely not least, signal intercept, which is a quite passive form of electronic warfare. It covers the basics of interfering with the target's communications or scanner systems. This includes tracking target signatures, intercepting, rerouting, scrambling outbound communications, or causing direct interference to radar and scanner systems. Essentially, with signal intercept, you are trying to blind your opponent at the battlefield, you are trying to scramble their communications and leave them blinded, leaving them without any knowledge, without any information of what is happening in front of them, around them, without any real communication between them, denying them the option to communicate with each other and coordinate their action. Of course, in a battlefield, you are not going to be the only side that will be using electronic warfare, so you will have to take some steps to protect yourself from your enemies, from his electronic warfare attacks. E-war defenses include electromagnetic flare, that is a tool that will help you to shake off EM tracking missiles or even mask the launch of a data module from a ship like the Herald if you want to leave behind something very important, some very important info, but you don't want your enemy to know what you just did. A heat shaft that works similarly to the EM flare and will create a temporarily heated up field when launched. This will attract the attention of heat-seeking missiles of the enemy's radar if they are looking for your IR signature and will help you escape from the area. Data chaff that will offer protection against attacks to communication and scanners. When launched, the data chaff will make it much harder for an attacker to establish or maintain their lock against the defender systems. This is going to be an essential tool for ships that don't come with a full E-war suit and will need every protection they can against E-war attacks. Another way to protect yourself against your enemy's E-war attacks and of course confuse them at the battlefield is with the use of decoy missiles. A missile that when fired broadcasts appropriate signatures to assume the identity of a particular ship. By default, these missiles will inherit the signature of the ship firing them, but advanced operators can configure them to mimic a wide array of targets. These are some types of electronic warfare attacks and defenses that we know right now, and some of them are already in game. You can experience them if you like. And logically, we are going to get a lot more types of electronic warfare later when this feature will be fully implemented in game. To be efficient at electronic warfare though, I think that you need to understand how the signature system in Star Citizen works and how you can take advantage of that system properly. This is exactly why I consider scanning, although a different feature in the game, I consider scanning as a type of electronic warfare support that will help you to not only identify your targets, but also find them if they are trying to slip past your lines, if they are trying to remain stealthy, and unleash your attacks on them. In general, every component, weapon, and equipment aboard the ship will emit a certain type of signature, a signature that ships with the proper equipment can detect and discover your location or get info about you. It will be possible to disable certain components to lower your emissions or use equipment specifically designed in order to have a smaller signature in order to try and conceal yourself and remain stealthy. The three main signatures that we have in game are IR, infrared signature, which is pretty much the heat that your ship generates. Power components on the ship generate heat, and most of this heat is collected by the cooling system and ejected from the craft via heat exchangers. This ejected heat, coupled with any uncooled heat from thrusters and other components, can be detected by infrared cameras. A way to conceal your IR signature is to use coolers in order to mask your heat signature. Electromagnetic signature, EM, where everything that is consuming power will generate an EM signature, mainly energy weapons, shield generator, and power plants. You can mask your EM signature by managing your power, by disabling components and weapons when you don't need them, when you don't want to use them, and try to remain stealth in that way. Or you can use less power hungry modules and weapons that will have a smaller EM signature, but at the same time will not be as good as the other components that you were using. And of course we have the cross section, which is detectable by radar ship, and the bigger ship the easier it is to detect it, but that doesn't mean you are defenseless, that you cannot protect yourself. There are certain types, special types of armor, there are special types of armor material that you can use on your vessel and try to lower your cross section signature, try to remain undetected. Understanding how the signatures work and be able to find these signatures, be able to look for these signatures is going to be a quite essential skill set if you want to participate in electronic warfare and try to find your enemies, try to find if someone is hiding behind your lines. Every ship will have a default scanning module, but to properly operate like this, you will have to use specialized equipment on ships that were created for that role. You can scan an entire area for everything that could be found, or be more precise, searching a smaller area for a specific signature if you are after a specific target. From what we have heard lately by the developers, they are creating a ping component for this activity for scanning, and we will be able to send a wave out to see if there are objects within the scan range, like ships, asteroids or signal traces, that we will be able to read and know if a player entered or exited them, and we will even be able to follow them through these signal traces. If we want to narrow our search, it will be possible to adjust the angle with which we are scanning. With a smaller angle we will have more range, but we will be able to find objects within that angle only. And of course, look for certain signatures, look for certain types of target. There are ways, of course, to protect yourself from someone that is looking for you, and this is by using scan shielding in various forms, like hull modifications. The armor we have seen in the Hornet Ghost is using shields, standard craft shields with a secondary scan shielding aspect, scan shield components, a device that is specifically made for shielding an area of a craft against scanning, quite similar to the shielded crates we will be using in smuggling, and of course internal modification installed within a room aboard a multi-crew ship, usually around a space containing a sub-component or cargo, something that we want to keep hidden. Let's take a quick look at some of the ships that we have in Star Citizen right now, and some of the ships that will come in the game and will be used in electronic warfare extensively. The first one, like we have mentioned already, is the Avenger Warlock, an Avenger variant that is equipped with an EMP generator and is capable of emitting a powerful EMP wave. In that way, it can disable the electronics of anything that is inside its blast radius. Right now, you can experience that kind of gameplay in the Persistent universe if you have access to the Avenger Warlock. The Drake Herald, that is also in-game, available in-game, and although primarily is a data runner, can be used for intercepting communications and data theft later. Especially when the hacking arrays will be introduced to the game, we will be able to replace the arrays of the Herald that it has right now with these hacking arrays and try to steal communication from our enemies, try to steal data that we will be able to use in some other way. To be successful at this role, the Herald comes with an advanced encryption software, an armored computer core, and EMP shielding as well. It also has some external data cores that you can leave behind if you want to create a drone point and leave some very important info for your organization, for your friends. The Terrapin is another interesting vessel that can be used for covert operations, for monitoring your enemies and sneak behind their lines. It has dedicated scan capabilities and can be used as a ship to infiltrate enemy lines and monitor their movements undetected. It comes equipped with a dedicated station featuring isometric display terminals that allow the operator increased fidelity during data collection and analysis. The Hornet Tracker now, another vessel that is in game right now, and it is a dedicated scanning vessel with an advanced radar suite by Wilsop Systems. It's going to be a perfect option for searching an area for targets or anything else you want to find, and then unleash your attack on them, your reward attack, or in general your fleet and your ships. It can be used in order to detect enemies that will try to pass undetected if they are trying to sneak behind your lines, and it can also be used as a command and control ship to coordinate action. And the Vanguard Sentinel, the epitome of electronic warfare in Star Citizen that is not yet in game but will come eventually. This is a ship that has as a primary goal to cause confusion on the battlefield. It is equipped with EMP pulses, decoy missiles, an external E-war pod, and an AR cockpit. It is necessary for providing combat support, and it will make it impossible for targets to stay in contact and have proper information. This is a vessel that you want to have in your fleet if you are especially fond of electronic warfare, and if you want to take advantage of this feature in game. It is going to be essential for every operation, and you can use a sentinel to escort other fighters and bombers if you are planning an attack. So you can use the sentinel and its capabilities and its equipment to mask your appearance from your enemies, get near them, unleash your attack, and get out of there without the enemy even knowing what hit them. So this is everything we know about electronic warfare in Star Citizen right now. I personally think it is going to be a very important part of warfare in game, especially in organization warfare, when two organizations will be fighting each other, but also for small groups that want to take advantage of this feature and try to fulfill their goals in that way. What do you think of electronic warfare? What do you think of the ships that can be used for this type of gameplay? Is it something that interests you? Is it something that you will have fun doing? For me personally, I would like to test it when it is more fleshed out, when it is fully implemented in game, and see how it works, see how it plays. Thank you very much for joining me. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more. I am SquidofLove, and I will see you around the verse. Bye bye.